Hi everybody, it's Crystal. So today I have a stitch tutorial for you. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to crochet the furrow stitch. It's very, very pretty. It is an easy 2-row repeat, which this stitch consists of the slip stitch and the half double crochet. So it's extremely easy to do if you know how to do those 2 stitches. So it does have a bit of texture there, if you can see the bumps there. And then if you look at it from the long way, it does have a bit of texture on the rows when they bump up. So it's a slightly textured stitch. Very, very pretty. Very, very easy to do. So the sides, they come out, I didn't do anything special. They come out pretty straight on their own, as you can see. And here's the back. The back does not look the same, but it is nice and clean. It's just no texture. It's just straight clean across the back here. As far as how see-through it is, on a scale of 1 to 100, percent, I say that it's probably about 75% not see-through. So you can see my hand a bit, but you know, it's not really that bad. So there you go. I'll give you the, you know, it's a pretty solid stitch, but not quite, but pretty solid. I think that making it, if you made a top out of it or something, it would still be okay to wear it as is, or you could wear a tank underneath it. But the stitch would be good for anything that you would want to use it for. Of course, blankets, scarves, anything, hot pads, wash rags, whatever. But you know, a stitch like this is always the sky's the limit. An easy one to work up, and it's beautiful. So do you guys want to go ahead and get started? All right, let me set this to the side. Okay, the yarn that you see there for that stitch sample was made with the Red Heart Super Saver Ombre. This is a 100% acrylic medium weight number 4, and the color is called Jazzy. And for the purpose of that stitch tutorial, I used a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. Now, depending on what you're making and what yarn you're using, that would decide, you know, what hook size you want. But that is what I use for that swatch there that you've seen. All right, do you guys want to go ahead and want to do it? All right, let's get started. All right, so the first stitch is done in any even number of stitches. So depending on what you're making, whether it be a scarf, blanket, whatever it is, you chain as long as you want, you know, your project to be in any even number of stitches. All right, so any even number will work. And once you get your chain in any even number, we'll go ahead and begin row 1. What we're going to do is we're going to be working in the 3rd chain from our hook right here. So we don't count the one that's on our hook. This one's 1, 2, 3 right there. We're going to put a half double crochet in that 3rd stitch. Just like that. So there's a half double. And this chain right here on the end, that counts as a half double too. All right, so if you look right now, counting that chain, we have 2 half doubles. So what we're going to do is we are going to work across the chain, putting 1 half double crochet into every stitch for the length of the chain. So row 1, 1 half double in every stitch, and I will meet up with you at the end of the row. All right, so I've made it to the end of row 1, and remember, we do count this chain here on the end as a stitch. So because we did do a half double crochet in the 3rd chain from our hook, we now will have an odd number of stitches at the end of row 1, and the odd number that you have now is what you will keep for the entire time that you use the stitch. All right, so the chain starts out with an even number. That's how the stitches worked. But once you finish your row 1, you'll have an odd number, and that's the number that you will keep. Remember, this chain down here, he's counting as a stitch. All right, so let's go ahead and begin row 2. Row 2 and 3 are the repeat rows. All right, so it's very easy. We're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn our work. Now that chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch, all right? It doesn't count as anything, just our turning chain. So we're going to do a half double crochet into the very first stitch. like that. And now we're going to start the repeat of row 2. We're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, like that. And then we're going to half double into the next. And that is the repeat for row 2. We slip stitch into the next and half double into the next. Slip stitch into the next. See that? And half double into the next. And we're going to repeat this until we get to the end of the row. Slip stitch, half double, slip stitch, half double. So keep repeating the slip stitch, half double, repeat all the way to the end, and I'll meet up with you at the end of row 2. All right, now your last stitch should be a half double crochet. And remember, we said we did count this chain here as a stitch, so we're just going to do a half double crochet right there in the last stitch, like that. So you should have began in a half double and ended in a half double, and that will end row 2. Now we're going to go ahead and start row 3, which is the final repeat row. We're going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and turn our work. This is the front side of our work. As you can see the slants of the of the slip stitch there. Now what we're going to do for row 3 here is we're going to do a half double crochet in every single stitch all the way across, starting out by putting a half double crochet into the very first stitch. Oops. And then a half double crochet into every stitch. Now remember to get this slip stitch because it looks a little tight, but it is there. So go into that one and half double crochet, and then into the top of the next stitch, and we half double. And the next stitch is a little tight, but if you flip it up you'll be able to see the stitches really well. We're just going to work across the row, putting a half double crochet into every single stitch until we make it to the end of the row. Super easy. Nice, quick, easy stitch. Makes that beautiful, beautiful pattern. All right, so I'm going to continue working one half double crochet into every single stitch until I make it to the end of row 3. And you can already see, and this is what it looks like. All right, I'm coming to the end of row 3, and I have one stitch that remains. I'm just going to go and half double crochet into the top of that last stitch. That ends row 3, and that ends the repeat rows. So it's just a repeat rows of 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3. We just keep repeating those rows. Remember, you should always have the same number of stitches that you had after we ended row 1. So again, for row 4, I would just repeat row 2. That's where I chained 1 and turned. Now this is the back side of our work because you can see there is no texture on it. And we start out with a half double crochet into the very first stitch. And then we slip stitch into the next. And half double into the next. And that's the repeat. Slip stitch into the next. And half double into the next, and we repeat this to the end of the row. Your last stitch should be a half double crochet, half double, slip stitch. Remember, I'm just repeating row 2, the slip stitch, half double, repeat to the end. And when you make it to the end, you would just chain 1 and turn, and then you would repeat row 3 where we would do a half double crochet into every stitch. And after a few repeats of rows 2 and 3, you get this beautiful, beautiful looking stitch. It is so much prettier in person. My camera is just not picking up the texture of the stitch. It's a very, very beautiful stitch. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and I hope that you were able to follow along. If you were, please hit that subscribe button. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tutorials. They are all free, all of them. They're all free for you to enjoy. I don't just do stitch tutorials. I have everything and anything that you could ever want to make. All I ask is that you hit that subscribe button. And if you did enjoy this video, please give me a like and a comment below. That always helps. That's all I ask. And thank you for watching. I will see you guys on my next video, okay? Take care. Bye, guys.